Hey y'all, time for a little update. We're going to drill down a little bit on my holdings, and I do have some cryptocurrencies, Litecoin and Ethereum Classic. You can see Litecoin has taken off quite a bit over the last week or two. The up 21% in the last week, up 65% in the last month. If you look at the yearly chart, you can see kind of a cup shape pattern going on here that's extending quite a bit further than the other upswings from a time perspective that have happened in the past. This could be an indication of a long-term upswing, and maybe for 2 or 3 months here we may be looking at this particular cryptocurrency to be on a slow but sure trek to the upside, maybe up to around $100 or so, hopefully. But if you understand cryptocurrencies, you understand how volatile they are. And you don't want to put a whole lot. To give you an example, my entire investment portfolio is 1057, and my cryptocurrency portfolio is about $4 of that. So that shows you that you might want to try and grab some of the upswing over the next 2 to 5 years in these markets, but do not try and put a whole bunch of your eggs in that basket. Moving on down to the stocks, I own something called Eaton Vance Tax Management Global Fund. It's a closed-end fund, and I bought it a while back, maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, in order to give myself exposure to stocks around the world without having to go around and picking them out myself. And it's one that has paid decent dividends over the last few years. Right now the dividend yield is 2.033, and it fluctuates quite a bit based on some options writing that it does and things of that nature on a monthly basis. So it pays a dividend once a month, and sometimes it's up around 10% on a yearly basis, and sometimes it drops down to 1%, and it's based on their income that they get off of their option writing. And so that's one that has been pretty consistent for me. I would say I've probably yielded about 6% over the last 4 or 5 months with that on a yearly basis. And it's also reasonably cost, so if you don't have much money, you can get into one right now at $7.97. If you look at its actual track record, on a 1-week basis, it's up a little under 1%. On a monthly basis, same thing. On a 3-month basis, it's down 5%. I would believe dividends have probably almost kept that in even. On a yearly basis, it's down 13%. Dividends would have brought it probably down to about down 4 or 5%, which is pretty close to the market. And over a 5-year period, it's down 21%. Again, dividends probably would have brought that to about a break even. And if you understand what I'm looking for over the long term is dividend yield, that's my goal. And over time is the only way that I can say that you can get that dividend yield. All right, let's move on. The next one I have is kind of a small part of my portfolio as a protection against a down market. It's SLVO. It's Credit Suisse links silver, and basically what it does is it holds SLV in its portfolio, which is a silver ETF. And basically what they're doing is they're holding bullion somewhere, and basically you own the paper that represents that. And this Credit Suisse buys this ETF and then sells covered calls on their ETFs and gives you that back on a monthly basis as income. And if you notice, the dividend yield is quite high, 13.69. But if you look at its performance over the last 5 years, it's pretty bad, down 60%. And that's one of the reasons why I got into it recently, is because I know it's come down quite a bit over the last 5 years, and the market, on the other hand, has gone up quite a bit over the last 5 years. So I'm kind of thinking that there's going to be a turn in the market at some point, and I want to at least have some hedge on that turn, and this is where I'm going for that. The next one I have is something called Main Street Capital. It also pays a monthly dividend. You can look that up and do your own research on that one. The yield on this one is 6.83%, and it's paid out monthly. And the next one I have is Gladstone Capital, which is a real estate investment trust. It also pays, I'm not sure if that one pays a monthly dividend or not. I think that pays a quarterly dividend, but it's a real estate investment trust. And I'll look that up and find out if it's monthly or quarterly. Most real estate investment trusts do pay out monthly, so maybe that's the case. The next one is called Enbridge, and basically what Enbridge is, it's a oil and gas pipeline company that pays a quarterly dividend. And it's based in Canada, but they run their pipelines down through Alberta and down into Minnesota and Michigan, I believe. And basically it's a way to play the oil and gas market that may be a little less volatile. Their 5-year return down 15%, their 1-year return up 12%, 3 months up 9.5%, and they pay out 6.6 dividend, and they pay quarterly, and they have special dividends occasionally. And the last one I have is AT&T. Most of you know AT&T. It's had a bad time over the last 5 years. If you look at it's down 5.44%. And I also believe that this one is kind of reached its bottom. Its price earnings ratio is 10, which is in that particular industry is pretty low. And their dividend yield is high at 7, and they continue to pay out their dividends for the last 30 years. So there you go. Those are my holdings. I believe it's about 6 of them. I'll get you the exact number here in 1 second. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, y'all. I'm looking at my overall performance over the last couple of days. You can see my 1 week, I'm down 1.94%. My 1 month, I'm down 2.69%. My 3 months, about breaking even. My 1 year, about breaking even. And my all-time, about breaking even. So continuing to increase the dividends. The next one, I'll go over how much dividends I get per month at this point in time. At 1,057 in my total overall portfolio, it's not that much, I can tell you that right now. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking 10 years out, and I hope you can continue to join me on this journey. Thank you all. Have a great